And we are back with some more Nova Scotia Supernovas franchise mode. And in this one, we unfortunately come off a loss, a sweep from the Colorado Avalanche, who absolutely dominated us in the Stanley Cup final. So, couldn't quite get our second Stanley Cup in 3 years. It is very unfortunate. So we're just going to have to try again. And here we go, awards time. So Connor Bedard wins the Ted Lindsay and the Art Ross. Then you have Maurice Richard going to Chaz Lucius. For the Lady Byng, you have Yegor Sharangovich. The Bill Masterton, Matthias Ekholm. Dylan Larkin for the Mark Messier Leadership Award. Jennings goes to Eric Portillo. And the Hart, between Matthews, McDavid, and Bedard, goes to Bedard, 111 points in 80 games played. And for the Conn Smythe, you have Nathan MacKinnon. Yeah, figures. Calder, between Dmitry Utkin, Ivan Miroshnichenko, and Gavin Hayes, you have Dmitry Utkin of Seattle. And for the Norris, between Power, Provorov, and Hughes, come on, Provorov, Quinn Hughes. And for the Selke, you have Horvat, Barkov, and Ranta, and you have Barkov. For the Vezina, between Riley, Wallstedt, and Knight, you have Jesper Wallstedt is the winner. Executive of the Year, between Armstrong, Guerin, and Adams, it is Bill Guerin of Minnesota. And for the Jack Adams, between Brindamore, Halpern, and Granato. Come on, Brindamore. Oh, Halpern. All right, so we do have one player who I'm interested in signing here whose deadline is coming up soon. Flynn Perry. He is a 3.5-star goaltender at 19 years of age. Signing deadline's coming up soon, so I think I'll sign him. These are the players that are being released. Tuck is the only notable there, and everyone else, at least for right now, is staying put. And our total season score is 29, bringing our total career score to 105. Since I have negotiating maxed out already, I guess I'll put these 5 into discipline and player management. Alright, it is now July 1st, so here's our roster currently. You have Ivanov and Peterson in goal. Defense is looking all set. Provorov, Kiviharju, Chychrun, Yurichek, Liljegren, and Odelius, and Wu, not to mention, so that's 7. We're all good there. Forwards, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is Makarov. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and on the injury list, 16, Jaeger. We might need to move a couple of guys. That is quite a lot of forwards. I guess we'll just have to see how things play out in the preseason because I'm not really sure who to trade here. So, yeah, we're just going to have to wait until preseason and see how it plays out. Because I really think this roster could make another run for it. I mean, they still have a lot of growing to do after all. We have Peter, Stenberg, Eriksson, Lekarimaki, Zetterberg, Boo, Thibodeau, Makarov, Onishko, and Klee, all under 24 years old. And that's just our forward core. On defense, you have Kiviharju and Wu and Ashton. Not to mention a couple of 24-year-olds in Yurichek and Odelius. A couple of veterans back there in Chychrun and Provorov, and then Liljegren as well. I want to give this group another chance. I still believe they can do it. Sure, we got routed in the Stanley Cup final pretty easily, but like I said, there's still lots of room for growth. This is still a young team, and even more so now with Tuck out of the picture. So I really think I want to keep this group together as much as possible. Of course, we are going to have to move someone, just given that we have a lot of forwards. Now, whether that's sending someone down to the AHL or making a trade, I don't know yet. But my point is, I'm not about to go out to free agency and acquire, Lucas Raymond or Lawson Kroos. Because we're honestly kind of closing in on the side ceiling anyway. We're at $77 million right now. I know that's going to be a bit lower once the season starts since we're not going to have 26 players on our roster by then, but we also do have to take into account we have the contracts of Eriksson, Ingram coming up as well, Wu, Onishko, Thibodeau. Like, how much are these guys going to ask for? I'm not sure if we're going to be able to afford all of them, honestly, so I kind of just want to keep the roster the way it is at the moment. Like I said, we'll see what happens going into the preseason and then heading into the regular season. Yeah, I'm not making any moves here. Let's just, I suppose, go to the draft. Then we'll quickly get through that and then straight to the preseason. Here we go, draft lottery time. I mean, we're not in it this time, obviously, but I suppose we should take a look at it anyway. So at number 17, you have Dallas. 16, you have Seattle. 15, Pittsburgh. 14, LA. 13, Columbus. 12, San Jose. So Vegas moves up. Then you have Carolina at 11. At 10, you have Ottawa. At 9, you have Chicago. 8, Anaheim. 7, Montreal. 6, Toronto. 5, Tampa. So San Jose moves up into the top 3. At number 4, you have Boston. And at number 3, Vegas. And at 1, San Jose. Here we go, draft time. There is a 2-star ability player available in Ruslan Kudugin. Now, we obviously don't need any NHL-ready prospects as far as forwards go, and so that's not something that I'm going to go out of my way to trade for, but if he does fall to our pick with the Winnipeg pick, because we don't have our own first-round pick this year, due to the Pro-Rod trade, I believe, then I wouldn't mind taking him either. But I'm not going to lie, he would probably spend some time in the AHL. Just given our situation right now, there's no more room for forwards on the roster whatsoever. None. Unless you're like McDavid or something. So here we go. Simulating up to our pick at number 30. Yeah, I thought that 2-star player would not be available at this point. So the best player available now appears to be Gordon Mckenzie, left winger from Saskatoon. Good checker, good positionally. Seems like a solid defensive forward. We don't have too many of those, so I wouldn't mind taking him. He's supposed to go at 136, but if you've played this game before, you would know the mock draft is not that accurate. It's rarely ever accurate, in fact. I don't know. I think this is just one of those situations where I just take whatever player looks good, and he may be a ways away for sure, but, that's not a big deal to me at this point in time. And it looks like he could be a potentially solid 2-way player. I mean, he's got the beginning open at 16. Everything's fairly well-rounded. But I especially love that checking at 16, hitting at 13, positioning at 14. If he turns out, he could be a solid, well-rounded 2-way forward, potentially in the bottom 6. So it's not like there's anyone better at this point. Like, he's literally the best potential, or tied for the best potential anyway, and then is also tied for the best ability. And of those players that he's tied with for the best ability, he has the highest potential of them. So I don't see why not. Gordon Mckenzie, welcome to Nova Scotia. So the 2 best potential players at this point are a right defender in Ilpo Ahola and a goaltender in Brian Torchia. I'll just take the defenseman. It doesn't really matter at this point. We're starting to get to that point in the draft where most, or if not all of the players are going to be long shots, I would say. I mean, I have definitely seen players who go in the later rounds who didn't initially have high potentials grow up to be something phenomenal, but that's not often. So we're just going to skip the rest of the draft here, I think. And so I think with that, we are good to move into the preseason because there's not really much else I want to do. There is the Hall of Fame nominations in August, but that is about it. And for the Hall of Fame, we have Patrick Marleau, Kevin Hatcher, Dave Taylor, and Henrik Sedin, all nominated into the Hall of Fame. All right, so this is our 23-man roster for right now. We might have to send someone else down because Kivi Haryu's still on international duty. But for right now, the roster does say 23. So we'll keep it like this for now, but I am anticipating to have to send someone else down to the AHL or possibly trade. Ooh, unfortunately, I didn't realize that Daniil Boo or Chris Thibodeau or Maxim Velikov had to be waived at this point. If they somehow clear, then I will be amazed, but I don't think so. I think all 3 of them are getting claimed. I mean, there are a lot of players on waivers, but Boo is among the best, at least as far as forwards go. Same for Thibodeau, so I wouldn't be surprised if both of them get claimed. I'm actually kind of amazed they weren't claimed. None of them were claimed just now. So that is, yeah, that's good. Boo, Velikov, Thibodeau, all still here. Unfortunately, they just didn't simulate well enough to be able to stay on the roster. I guess at some point, we're going to have to find a trade for all 3 of them during this season because I don't want to risk losing a 3-star player to waivers during the regular season. Because during the regular season, you can almost guarantee that they'll be snagged up. We lucked out this time because it was the preseason. There was plenty of players on waivers, but I doubt that will happen during the regular season if there ever comes a time where we would need to waive them. So I think at some point they're going to have to be traded. Kivi Haryu's still on international, and it's October 1st. So hopefully that doesn't get in the way of anything, roster-wise. Okay, he's back, and it is indeed 23 players on the roster still. All right, good. So we're set then. And with that, here is our official 23-man roster. You have Ivanov and Peterson in goal. On defense, you have Provorov, Kivi Haryu, Chikrin, Juracek, Liljegren, Odelius, and Wu. And at forward, you have Jaeger, Peter, Stenberg, Eriksson, Khmelevsky, Nemesnikov, Ingram, Lodnia, Lekarimaki, Makarov, Zetterberg, Peterka, Klee, and Nishko. So with that, I think we'll end things off here. And in the next one, we will get to the year, what is it now, 8? Yeah, year number 8. This is flying by. So with that, I'll see you guys in the next one.